Okay, time to wrap this baby up. This morning we came in wanting to buy 70s to 72s. The low was 71.50. We wanted to sell 79s to 81s. The high was 82.75. So caught the E-mini really well today. The tomorrow is a Newsday trade. If you know what the non-farm payroll number is, you've got the trade. The market expects 211 for the non-farm payroll number and 6.6% for unemployment rate. Then factory orders up 1.6%. So we do have some news. So based on what we have on our F1 screen today, higher low, higher high, it said we should be buying weakness. That is countered. We're at the top of resistance. And the economic news is mixed enough right now that it's going to pick a piece of good news to break this market out. And we might get that tomorrow. We might have a non-farm payroll number north of 210,000. But as usual, it's down to the news. When we left on the last update, we were looking for the market to close at 75. We're currently trading 74.50. We'll stick with that call. One of the reasons I go through this exercise is to teach you how to game or strategize about what you're doing. You have to think about what happens before the fact, not after the fact. So guessing where the market's going to open, guessing where it's going to close, being able to say higher or lower this far and no farther, that's all part of the game of helping you sharpen your pencil and become a better trader. Like I said this morning, we were selling 79s to 81s. This area, it looks reasonable still to me as a sell. The market did go a little higher. Next area of resistance is going to be this 85, 87, so the next sell will be 84, 86. On the buy side, we wanted to buy 70s to 72s. It still looks reasonable to me right now. Like that trade. Best trade is down here against this high volume number, the attractor, at 65, 67. So that does it for the E-mini. Big news tomorrow. Big news day. Normally the biggest news day of the month. The only thing that would exceed that in importance is the FOMC announcements. And when they have a big, most of the time the FOMC is going to tell you steady as she goes. And it does not carry the impact that unemployment does, but some months it does when they could be making a big change. Okay, the note was just a hell of a lot stronger than I envisioned it being all day long. The knob spread is out to 11. The financials and the stock indexes are higher. Something's got to give. The financials are telling us that the economy is not as strong as the news headlines would have us believe. The yield curve is flattened quite a bit. That means uncertainty. So one of these two markets is going to come back, and the other is going to hold these gains. The higher low and higher high that we deal with right now points to higher prices tomorrow. So selling failure to extend the range 124. 24 and buying against support, which is basically 12 to 16, will be the two trades that we'll see set up in the overnight session. We'll have a full complement. The market will be back in force tomorrow with Europe off of vacation. China is off of vacation, their May Day celebration. It is, it is amazing to me that these old ideas that have been proven since time began not to work, keep getting recycled, and the excuse always is that we didn't have the right people doing it. Nothing wrong with the idea, just we failed in the execution. And that's what we face in the United States today. And the argument always used by people to gain control is the argument of envy. Somebody has something that you want, and that's not fair, so let's go figure out a way to take it. And that's how politicians, kings of old, dictators have all come into power. And that's not going to change. That's just human nature. Right now, a lot of the problems in the United States have come from this imposition of regulations, the tax burden. We have the highest in corporate taxes in the developed world, and we're getting slow growth. Our growth is approaching that of the socialist-based countries in Europe, and growth solves a lot of problems. And I hope the non-farm payroll number is higher than forecast tomorrow, so more people go back to work. It's a tragedy what's going on right now. Okay, we're going to sell failure to take out 24.28. There's a little dent up here at 30, so the next trade will be selling 31s to 03s. Don't think we can get there tonight. On the buy side, we've got 18 to 17.5 support, so we'll make 19 to 15. Let them get stops above, below the last rotate down, 18. And then we'll make 13 to 9 for our buy side. But again, we're going to probably have a pretty quiet overnight session. The inside numbers are probably what we'll have to work with as people sideline themselves into the FOMC, and not the FOMC, but the unemployment numbers. Okay, quick look at the bond. The bond is riding high. Like I said, once again, it's not clear to a whole lot of people why the financials are so strong given the strength in the indexes. But you'll see right here on the 30-year that over the last, we just made a new high, or retested the high over the last 180 days. So this is a pretty strong market. Interest rates are falling, and something's got to give. So we're going to sell failure at 24 to 28. And our buy zone, we're at 20 right now. We'll make that 13 to 17. And then 5 to 9. So we'll make our first buy zone right here. And we're a little more generous on the buy side in the 30-year because of the knob spread. Reg, I hope you guys are sending some warm weather our way down here. It's like 60 degrees out here today. The sun is shining, but the wind's blowing once again in this 20 to 30 mile an hour range. It's down from where it has been. It has been 30 to 45 miles an hour over the last 3 days. So we're going to ask you to slow down the cold air pump for a while. Let us warm back up. Get teased with summer. Looking at gold, if I can get it to pop up here. There we go. Gold will be on hold overnight. Central bank action tends to, or impending central bank action tends to kill the activity in gold. Okay, last rotate down in gold stopped at 82. We're at 85, so we'll give it a little room. We'll make it 77 to 80. It'll be buy one. Might have to pay up to get in. Then we'll make 75, 73 by 2. And on the sell side, we've got, we'll make it, we had it this morning, 88 to 90. That is resistance. And then 93 to 95. Probably going to trade the inside numbers. Now, if you ever want to see the information that was leaked, I had an interesting conversation with Lewis when the everything started to go electronic. He was approached by a specialist firm in New York who made their money front-running, knowing where the orders were, and they were very interested if they could do that with futures too. And the books are closed in futures, and it's illegal to show people your book, etc. And so the folks in New York were very, very disappointed in what how Chicago was going to make them trade the markets. Now, it's always been my contention that New York lives off of inside information, and they buy it. They just don't screw around. So if anybody knows what the number is going to be tomorrow, quite often just before a big number hits, you'll see gold take off and go. And I don't think they've been wrong this year. This afternoon at 4 o'clock Eastern, over 100 people in our government and bureaucracies will know what tomorrow's numbers are. And they don't have to pick up their phone and call their buddies on Wall Street and say, hey, the number is this. What happens, the way that works, is their buddies on Wall Street call them up and say, hey, what you thinking? What's going on here? Think the number might be bigger or lower? Oh, you know I can't tell you that. But, you know, things are looking pretty good for the economy right now. Or, you know, things are a little dicey with the economy right now, and you can read between the lines pretty easily. Okay, we got a seller at 100, just beneath it. We didn't get through it. Maybe stops above that number, so we're going to sell 100, 100 and a quarter, and 50 to 75. As long as we stay below 100, close below it, this baby can sell. On the buy side, we got in pretty good this morning, but we'll make it 75 to the buck for buy one. And crude really won't trade these numbers. It'll trade in its own numbers and its own fundamentals. So crude won't react too much to the numbers. And fundamentally, the fundamentals for crude are weak with the increased production around the globe, and especially if we get an economic slowdown. But if you're going to trade the major economic fundamentals in the crude pit, it's pretty hard to do. And the euro is dead. European Central Bank. Apologize for that. European central banks were closed today. The currency market is totally run by the Europe. That's the dog that wags the tail that goes around the globe. And when the banks aren't playing, the currency markets are pretty dead. And that's what we saw today. There just wasn't any activity. So we've got a seller into 139, and we've got a buyer somewhere below 38.50. If we come in greater than 210,000 on the non-farm payrolls, the euro should sell. On a relative basis, our economy would be stronger than forecast. If it comes in less than 200, the euro should rally. At that moment in time, the European economy would be deemed, on a relative basis, stronger than the U.S.'s by the euro. So stops below 50, we'll make 50 plus or minus, buy one. 25 to 35, buy two. On the sell side, we're going to make 75, 85, sell one. And then get through that area, probably headed above 139. 139, 139.10. Let them get stops above 139.10 for sell two. I'll get the link to this recording posted as soon as possible. See you all bright and early in the morning, 6:45 Central Time. Have a great evening.